Well,
Welcome to You Can Sip with
sit
Us.
with us.
I'm Colleen.
I'm Ashley.
Are
you sipping anything exciting?
sipping on? I asked you first, kind of. I think you actually beat me to the punch.
I mean, I can't. You're opening something.
Again.
Okay. I'm gonna post. I'm gonna John Mates. What should I John Mates? You know what? I kind of want a John Mates. Ouzo.
Folks, all of you can collectively say what I'm drinking on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. A sour beer. Surprise.
Yeah.
But what are you John mating?
Maybe some ouzo. Is that a little intense for midday? It's like a Greek liquor that tastes like black licorice. You know that
I've had it.
the yogi Egyptian licorice tea that I like?
Yeah.
It tastes like that, but in liquor form.
Would you drink it just straight, or tell me?
I had a little sipper of it last night.
How is it as much as like a shot of whiskey? Like it was just
yes,
like straight
it's 70
liquor?
proof, 40% alcohol.
So how much would you have? Just like
I had like a 2-finger situation on on like a rocks glass.
Will that last you the whole episode?
I don't doubtful, but I'm wondering.
Have him bring
it
you
just sounds really good. Hey, John. John. Oh, maybe I gotta text him. Can you bring me the bottle of ouzo and a glass with ice? Did you frickin' see I put it on our stories. I went to a bar and I ordered a tequila old fashioned. Yes. And it had 100 million ice cubes in it. And I said, do you guys not have big cubes? And they said, we don't. But they had an old fashioned on the menu. And I just said, can I get this, but with tequila instead of whiskey or bourbon or whatever was in it? And I thought, well, this is absolutely criminal. And Colleen will not be happy.
Ashley went on our You Can Sip With Us Instagram at You Can Sip With Us, and you did a story of the drink. And I was going to reply to that story, and then I thought, you will never see this message if I reply to that story.
Right.
So then I thought, I'll text her, but then I did other things.
You forgot.
And I forgot until
and
just
here we are now.
Right now.
The bases.
But you were 100% accurate that I would have been not pleased. And it reminded me of the old-fashioned, like the kind of old-fashions that they serve at a lot of bars that we talked about on Patreon a couple of weeks ago, like the ones you were drinking in Wisconsin.
The sweet old-fashioned?
Yeah, just like it's intentional, but it's different.
Do I sound okay? Because I realized we had those window washers here today, and I had to pull my desk out, and I don't have like the cover on my microphone.
You sound fine.
Okay, great. Well, then I'll just leave it. It's
all
somewhere.
is well.
Oh, here it is.
Okay, so today, you guys, we're rounding out the week. It's Friday. You'll be listening to this on Tuesday. By the time people listen to this, you will be beachside in San Diego. We gave the download of everything happening in your life over on Patreon, which you guys, if you're new here, welcome. We drop Tuesday episodes here. They're amazing. We also drop Friday episodes over on Patreon, which is like our reality TV show, the ins and outs of our real lives. patreon.com/you can sip with us. On Friday of last week, you were giving like the full story of how we got to the point in a moment's time that you are moving out of your house into a new house.
Yeah.
It's happening.
So
if you want to know the whole story on that, hop on
We're
over
live.
on Patreon.
Should I send you my listing?
Yes.
I'll send you my listing because the photos look so pretty. I'm terrified. Like part of me was like, oh, I'll put the listing on my social. But then I'm like, well, we'll be here for another 2 months because the close date of our new house it's September 30th.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if that's safe.
I don't think it's safe. I would not recommend. I mean, you've got young kids. There's a lot of who knows who on your Instagram. 100% would not do it.
Yeah. So, but I'm like proud of the pictures. The house looks really good. The house looks great because it looks like no one lives here, you know?
Totally.
You're walking through it and you're like, oh, this is so pretty. And I think also that might be why I talked about on Patreon, why I was getting a little emotional about like, oh, this house is so pretty. It'll be hard to say goodbye. Because it never looks like this. You know? And even in the last couple days, so we had photos taken on Wednesday. We're recording this on Friday. And even in 2 days, it's like, oh yeah, we live here. You know, like it happens quick.
When did it go live?
Today, a couple hours ago. Maybe
Oh,
4
yeah.
hours ago.
Oh my God.
Doesn't
The
it look so pretty?
photos.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't live here and you saw this house, you would just buy this house.
Yeah, I would be like, oh, John, look what I found. This is our dream home is right here.
It's perfect. It looks
Yeah.
just perfect. The thing is,
Yeah.
the other side of it is the new house you're buying will never look like. It's just how it is, but but it has the things you need. It has the things you need. Like our house, it never looks like this listing. These listing photos are intentionally,
Dreamy.
just dreamy. This is just
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
They turned out amazing.
The realtor that we're using also does like designing and staging. So they came in and helped. Like she said, we had a good, I would say 95% of what is in the photos is our stuff. And then they brought in 5% of like little plants and little trays and stuff to, zhuzh it up a little.
Yeah.
So, and then we're going to have them help us make the next home look like us.
Yes. Wow.
I know. Doesn't it look pretty?
Cruising through. Just gorgeous.
Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll get a buyer while we're in San Diego. But yes, as you guys are listening to this, I am probably drunk and naked on a beach somewhere about to get arrested. And I'm doing it for the pod because I gotta bring content. I gotta bring stories,
You do a great job of that.
Yeah. So
You're taking it for the team. Wow. Okay. I'm like hypnotized by these. They're so stunning. Okay. How do you feel though? Because this is a lot of life change, like happening very quickly. And when we spoke yesterday, you were like, I'm just so tired running on adrenaline. Like it's just been a lot. It's a lot to pack just for a family trip.
Yes.
Nonetheless, pack everything up. How do you feel today?
Interestingly, I did a run on the treadmill today and I pushed myself really hard, I guess, at one point. And I ended up having to like back off, but I hear people say when they do really hard workouts, oh my gosh, like that workout was so hard I cried. Or like if people start a new workout program, sometimes workouts make them cry. I've never experienced that. And today on the treadmill, I felt like when I had to slow down, I felt like I wanted to cry. And I was like, oh, what's this about? This is interesting. And I think it's just probably because of how much I don't know. It was like emotions that wanted to come out of me. I didn't end up crying, but I had the urge that it was like I needed to, I don't know. It was very strange. I've never experienced that before.
Yeah.
So I think like inside my body's going through some stuff, but I feel good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Mac was up most of the night coughing, and I feel really bad for that kid. So I just hope I don't know. I hope he does okay in San Diego. This poor little dude. But they're at school today. I mean, it was like a week and a half ago that he started getting sick, and now he's just got this cough. But hopefully San Diego is good for him. I think it'll be good and fun. I don't know. So I feel good. I feel like I was able to pack yesterday, and I don't feel rushed at all today.
Good.
With it being such a busy and full week, it's pretty nice. Like I don't feel stressed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Oh, fine. It's been a great day today. I've had a lot of social time. I met up with a friend at the workout club that we go to, and we did like a class this morning.
Good.
And then I came home and I had another friend who's also on maternity with an infant come over and just hang out here today. And we just like went on a walk and had lunch and just like hung out,
Gosh,
So it was just
so
like,
fun.
and now I'm here. This has been like a really nice day.
And is it Thursday nights that the doula comes?
Doula's over.
Oh.
The doula's over. I think I'm going to tack on 2 more nights.
Which is like 2 more weeks?
Just since we're not like, and I know I'm tacking on 2 more nights, but no doula this week. And then doula will be next week and the week after, and then we're done. Because we did 6 visits, and then our 6 visits are up, but we're still not getting like a full night's sleep, which I was hoping we would be at by this point, and we're just not. We did with
but
Ben.
Maybe 2
Ben
more
was
weeks.
bigger.
She's 2 months now.
Yes.
Yeah. So 2.5 months, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you want to, we had Jenna on the pod, right? Sleep coach.
Yeah.
So you could reach out to her. I'm sure she would love to help, and she's amazing. And around that, like after the 4th trimester is a good time to start establishing routines so that she's a good little sleeper.
Yes.
So that's something you could maybe do. If
Yeah.
anyone's looking for a sleep coach, she's at 4, the number 4, for the love of sleep on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so moments before, have you gotten your John mates yet?
No, I can see him out there in the garage.
What the hell, John?
And
It's
I'm
a
guessing
bottle
he
and
doesn't
a
have
glass.
his phone on him. What if, let me call him and see if he
Can you
answers.
scream?
Well, I mean, he's way over there. Here, let's see. Chris has been on the pod. Let's see if John, oh shit.
See if he answers.
See if he answered. I can see him working on, he's putting the bars on the car to get the, like the
I love
topper
this idea of just a random call segment, or we just randomly call
Hey,
people.
Hey, you're
him
on
he's
the
live on the
pod. We're recording.
yeah.
Tell him, ask him what he loves about you
And
most.
what?
up?
What does he
What's
love
up?
about you most?
What do you love about me most?
What do I love about you most?
Yeah.
I think you're just the most loyal person I've ever met, and you're amazingly beautiful and talented. And the most.
John.
Oh my God.
So
Okay.
much.
This was like,
Literally, I was calling to ask if you could bring me a drink, and now Colleen and I are both teary-eyed and crying.
that was so sweet.
Yeah.
And
Could you bring me
genuine.
the bottle of ouzo and some ice?
Ooh, daytime sipping.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, love you.
Bye, John. Love you too.
Bye. Well,
Okay.
that was unexpected.
What the hell?
I was like, how's this gonna go? Because I could tell he was a little annoyed when because he's like out there working. I mean, it's 100 degrees out. He's all sweaty, and I could tell he's like, okay, what's up? Like, and then he says that.
Like, from the heart.
I know, that was adorable.
The reason I reacted to it.
I know,
He's
I
not
saw
my
your eyes
husband, but I
too.
love John. It's because it was like so genuine
Yeah. I know the way he's like, I think you're the most loyal person I've ever met.
and amazingly beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, like
the loyal
inside and out.
the fact that he said the loyal person I've ever met, I think that's what got me, because that was the thing that I started doubting when everything went down in like Bora Bora. That I started doubting about myself of like, is this a good thing that I am this like ride or die for my people? And then I had to, I really had to do some work on that, but I do like that about myself. Now the work has to be on, and we talked about this on Patreon, I think, where I don't expect that in return.
Yeah.
That there's other ways of love, but I think that that's why that hit me so hard. Because I feel like it hasn't been, I haven't really gotten the feedback that this is a great thing, that people love that about me. And so for him to say that, I was like, oh, okay.
Let's do
not
that
just
all
me.
the time. Just
What?
randomly call people and put them on the spot about what they love about us.
I just watched the reel that Chad made when we had Chris on the show, and I still laugh every time. You're like, hey, you're on the pod. And he's like, oh, hey. Oh, hey.
Oh, hey. Oh, hey. Well, anyway, moments before we went live, I was cruising through our inbox and realized that we kind of are in need of a little mailbag catch up. So I thought we'd do a little mailbag stuff, and then we've got some 2 sips we're going to get to today as well. So first, I've got a little VM I'm going to play for you.
I can't wait.
Here we go.
Here comes John Mates.
Ashley, Colleen, hello.
There he is.
What is it going to take to get another Seltzer Science
you,
Lab
honey.
or Seltzer Olympics? I'm so serious.
He
This
says
has been
that.
my request for so long, and it's on another voicemail that I left you guys. I know you guys.
Did you hear that?
No.
She said, what's it going to take to get another Seltzer Olympics?
Oh! Yeah, because there are so many freaking seltzers out now since it's been like a couple of years.
It's been a minute.
For a long time.
A bunch of calls and stuff. I'm currently listening to episode 93 for like the 100th time because I needed a good laugh, and it's the Seltzer Olympics. and I'm ready. Are you guys ready? Let's do another seltzer science lab. We got, I think Corona has new flavors. I know you're not huge fans of Coronas. Miss Ultra is now in the seltzer, running. We got Busy. There's so many new members. So I want a good laugh so hard that your belly hurts episode from you guys. I want to do it with you. This would be so fun. And then I was also like, oh my God, how cute with Seltzer Science Lab, you can sip with us t-shirts be. That would be cute for merch. And then I was like, oh, what if they did a cup that looks
She
like
needs to be a manager for us.
Cup, and it says you can sip with us instead of where you put your name on a Starbucks cup. I think that would be so cute. I don't know. I'm just driving forward, listening. I love you both. I appreciate you both. I hope you're both doing well and you're blessed. Anyways, I'm going to laugh my ass off finishing this episode, but I just had to call. Happy Friday. Happy weekend.
I love our listeners.
Okay,
so much.
so what we need to know, you guys, is what do we have to try? Because
Right.
Colin and I'm up there for 8 days, and I feel like we're hopefully going to be together for almost all of it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we're also going to sneak away to her cabin for one night. Although I don't know if we will do it there because aren't other people coming?
There are.
So maybe
Yep.
not, but we will do multiple seltzer science lab. Well, one
I'm gonna put
seltzer
it.
science lab, but multiple different brands.
Yeah, I'm gonna do seltzer.
Oh, we
science.
also have a cool little prank call thing that we're going to try out there.
Yeah, seltzer science lab. Okay, so what's it gonna take? Nothing. We'll do
Nothing.
it.
Yeah.
But
that's it.
hit us up with your favorite seltzers, Ashley's.
Well,
like
and-
we need to know. Yeah.
I think the reason that, well, one, you were pregnant, but before you were pregnant, you had seen some messages that people didn't like the sound of us drinking or something on the pod, and you're sensitive to that because you
Yeah,
have misophonia a little.
And I was sort of like, have we gone too, like, I was like,
Is it too much?
At that point, we'd kind of tried a lot. And it's
Yeah.
like, how many people are reaching for these offshoot ones? I do think it's time, though, that it's been a
yeah.
long time, that there's
Yeah.
major new players. And yeah,
And we were doing tasting episodes like
too much, I thought.
many,
Yeah.
like back to back to back. So yeah, like if you are sensitive to mouth noises, there was a couple
period
months
there.
there that we were not an easy show for you to listen to.
In your ears, yeah. But
Yeah.
every once in a while, I'm down.
Yeah.
And I'm actually very excited for this because it has been a minute. And so what's it going to take? Nothing. Just
Nothing.
stay tuned.
We're in.
This is an email from Vanessa, and this is just a nice email that I wanted to share. So, hi, Ash and Call, Double Fister Soul Sipper here. Just wanted to extend a note and say thank you for making my daily walks so much more enjoyable. You two light up my day like no other. I try everything you recommend, even if I don't always need it. Seriously, anytime something comes in the mail, my husband said, let me guess, Ash and Call said you had to have it.
Yep.
I love it.
That's a ride
In
or
all
die.
seriousness, I do try everything you recommend. Most recently, I decided to try modern fertility. We're not actively trying, but it's been in our conversations and something we're thinking about in the next year. So why not? Turns out it was a great thing. I was alerted to some shocking numbers and have discovered some fertility issues. However, I'm hoping we caught it early enough. We'll be able to take steps in the right direction to give ourselves the future we always imagined. Thank you for always giving us the best recommendations. I'm not sure my husband will ever question a You Can Sip With Us purchase again after how much this one has hopefully helped us.
Oh
Lots
my
of love.
gosh.
Isn't that just like
That's amazing.
cool?
Yeah.
It's cool. You
That is
know?
really cool. Mhm.
Taken.
I love it when I
control.
hear that like you like us so much that like your family members know about us, you know?
That's one of my favorite things too.
Uh-huh.
You know? I feel like I know Chris's favorite people on his podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Circling back guys.
I also thought this one was cool. This is from Sydney. Ladies, I wanted to take a minute and apologize. I started listening to you as soon as you started podcasting. I was obsessed. Then I went through some personal stuff and I felt like I couldn't connect. I was becoming offended by some things on the pod and I was in a bad place. However, I recently found myself missing you and started binging the pod again and resubscribed to Patreon. I feel like you ladies have grown so much, but I have grown as well. I've gotten so much better about being okay with differing opinions. I'm a teacher. This is my first summer not working. I'm pregnant with my second child and send my first to daycare during the summer some days. I get lonely, so I turn on my besties and get shit done. Thank you for all you ladies do. I love you guys so much, and I really hope we can meet someday. I just thought that was nice to take the time to write that. And like, it just was honest, and it is true. Like, we've been doing, we are not the same people that we were 2 months
When we
ago,
started.
3 months ago,
And the show
a year
isn't.
ago from the
Yeah.
start of it. And, you know, it's okay to grow out of it. And it's like, I also think really special to come back. And that was cool. I thought
Yes.
it was an awesome email.
Yeah. I always think that's nice when people like, if you had to take a break from, I mean, oh my God, I was looking through my DMs the other day and it's like someone messaged me and then I don't know if you know this, but if someone if I miss a DM, it'll scroll and they show up at the top of my inbox and I click in it, but I haven't seen like sometimes I won't see people's messages for like since years ago. It just depends, right? So sometimes I'll click in and it'll go to the last seen message that I had from them. So it'll like scroll back. And I saw a time, it was in 2020, and I could not believe the language that I mean, I wasn't like using vulgar language, but I was so intense and passionate writing to this girl about how right I was about something, and of course it was political, and her and I were arguing, and I just thought that I don't even recognize the Ashley that was writing those things, because I'm still passionate, but I just don't, it's not like me against you, I'm right, you're wrong anymore. And so like I totally get feeling like you need to take a break for your mental health from whatever, not just us, but like I think that's a smart thing for all of us to do, to take breaks from things that are not serving us, and then come back when you feel ready and check it out and see if it maybe is good for you again. So I love that.
It also makes me think, like, normally there's not a podcast reflection of the different versions of yourself, but it would be interesting to go back to some of the earlier podcasts and just listen to them and like where we were at. You know, think about all the people you meet and the different version of you that they're getting.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why you're friends with different people at different times in your lives. And I think that's really special when marriages and friendships and things can grow together through all the different versions of all the different people that there are. It's
This
cool.
is in November, it'll be 4 years,
Crazy.
which is crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. Over 3.5 years we've been doing this now.
And maybe in the podcast's 5th year, there will be
Live.
opportunities where we are neighborly almost.
Oh,
Where we can, and if you want the story on that, go over to Patreon. Okay, here's a hangover topic. We just have a couple more before we get to 2 sips. This is a quick one from our friend Emily. This is a tip. Listening, because we were talking about your rant on inboxes and email, just inboxes of needing to unsubscribe to things. So here's a tip. Emily saw this on TikTok. In Gmail, you can create a filter to send all emails containing the word unsubscribe directly into archived mail, or you could probably create a rule to send it to a different folder or their own folder, she said. That way, you still sign up for discounts that you'll use every so often, but the emails won't clutter your inbox.
I saw that also on TikTok, but the problem is there are emails that I subscribe to that show unsubscribe that I want to see.
Ooh, you could
do you know what I mean?
I wonder if you could do like accept this.
Certain brands or certain because I remember seeing that on TikTok and I thought, oh, that's cool, and then I thought, well, maybe it would add more work since then I would have to go find, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I go through phases where today I'm gonna, instead of deleting them all, I go and I take the time to unsubscribe. But I hate, and I think I talked about this, when you click unsubscribe and then it makes you click through more things and it just takes more time.
Yes.
It's like, if I've done the work of like scrolling down and finding the little tiny thing that you've allowed me to click unsubscribe, I meant to do that. It's not an accident.
Totally.
You know?
I'm going to try that filter thing because when I want, like I ordered from Smallwood Homes the other day. Yeah. I had unsubscribed from their emails forever ago, so I wasn't getting any discount stuff. But I would have loved to have had a folder that I could go in and then just go, Smallwood, I need that. What have they sent me in the last however many months?
That's a good point.
Right? So
That's a good point. Maybe not to trash or archive, but to a folder.
To a folder. So it's just all in one spot and it's searchable by what you need when you need
Yeah.
it. Or you could just
That's
pop
smart.
in there every so often and see like what's happening.
Yeah.
Here's a tip, another tip. Remember we talked about mildew towels, and I can't remember if I shared this. Vinegar. Wash your towels with detergent. Put about a quarter cup of vinegar in your liquid softener spot. It works to get that smell out.
Okay.
From like dish
I
towels.
think you did
or
forward
other
me
towels.
an email.
I
And she said
forwarded it to
before you
you?
throw your towels out, do
Oh
that.
yeah, but I
haven't
didn't
done
share
it
it
yet,
here.
but
Yeah.
I need to.
Yeah, I want to do that too for our kitchen towels because
Yeah.
they get like bad.
Gross.
Okay, here's sharing a rant from a listener. This is our last mailbag for today. The rant, and by the way, if you want to send us your rants or things you think we should talk about or any like things you want our two sips on, go to sipsquadpod.com. That's where you can write to us and all the things. So this listener says, rant, browser pop-ups, stop it. No, I don't want 10% off giving you my email. No, I don't want to spin the wheel. That one's the worst. Spin the wheel for potential blah, blah, blah. Accept cookies? Of course. I love cookies. Not enough with the pop-ups. Love you guys. Thanks for being authentically awesome, Lisa. That was a good little rant.
Yeah, those are
Solid.
annoying. But again, I feel like the cookie thing is recent. That must be a regulation thing. Don't you feel like the sites, like in the last year, now you have to acknowledge cookies because it means they're like taking your information and storing it somehow?
Yes.
And before, I think they were probably always doing it, just didn't have to disclose it.
Yeah. One pop-up right when you first get to a website, I'm okay with.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
But the other day, I got suckered in from Instagram, of course, to this clothes website. I had been scrolling clothes for 5 minutes, like minimum, and then I get a pop-up. And that felt like a slap in the face. Like, no, I'm doing this. My task, my efforts are here. Why are you twisting my head in a different direction? Don't you dare.
Yes. And then sometimes there is a site, I can't remember when, but where it's like a pop-up comes up and it's not formatted correctly for your phone, and so you can't like get the X out to the bottom, and you're like trying to zoom to like get over there, and it just doesn't work, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I can't frickin' use your site then because you've got this pop-up thing that comes up and I don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that?
Recipes are the worst.
Oh yeah, recipes.
Websites.
Totally.
Scroll for, we've talked about it here, you have to scroll for 500 years and dodge 60 freaking pop-ups.
Yeah. And ads.
And then
it's a whole story of shit you don't
ads.
care about.
The in-content ads too, where it's so annoying.
A
I also don't like the kind of content where they're like, the 10 best places to live, and you click on it and you have to click through a slideshow. Like, come on.
Yes, just put it on a page.
Bullshit.
I want to be a passive consumer.
Yes.
I don't have to be actively. That's why I didn't like TikTok at first, because it doesn't like auto scroll, you can't like set your phone down and be doing shit. You have to be like an active user. And now of course I do it, but just go with it.
I don't want to click through your presentation. This isn't work. I'm here to veg out.
Right. I don't. Yeah. I have a job already. Okay.
Yes.
I don't need another job to come to your site.
Me do yours.
Okay. Are we doing an ad now or yes? The answer is yes.
Get to it.
Now, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. So, you guys know we are obsessed with taking care of our minds and our bodies. And I've talked about this before, but the way that I think about like personal development and therapy is exercising your brain. Your brain is the most powerful thing. It's the most powerful thing on the planet, actually. Our brains are incredible, but they're also wired to be negative because of just the way that you're a human, right? It's looking for threats. It's just our survival mechanism. So if you don't tell your brain where to go, it's going to go somewhere, and it might give you some thoughts that aren't so great on top of anything else that you're actually struggling with, childhood trauma or eating issues or, just lack of self-love and things like that. And so BetterHelp has been an incredible resource for me to go and get some of those thoughts out of my brain, to look at them, examine them with a licensed practitioner who knows what they're doing. You go online, you'll take a little quiz, fill out what it is you're looking for, what state you live in. They'll match you with a bunch of therapists, and then you can choose who you want to work with. You'll get matched right away. You can be within 48 hours, and then you can do, it's online therapy, so you can do video, phone, or just a live chat therapy session. If you don't want to be on camera, you don't have to. And I have found it to be so much more affordable than in-person therapy. Not just more affordable financially, but time-wise. Like, when I was little, I went to therapists, and have to get in the car and drive there, and then you wait in the lobby, and then you go and you have your session, and we had to like find parking, and it was just a whole thing. And now I just walk right over to my computer, and I pop on, I meet with my therapist, I have an amazing session, and then I leave. And if you don't like your therapist for any reason, you can always switch out. Super easy to find one that suits you better.
BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat therapy sessions. Much more affordable than in-person therapy.
I did all that.
You already did all these selling points? I was looking for 2 sips. Okay, hold on one second. I'll just do the CTA.
We got to do the call to action.
I'll do the CTA.
So our
I'll
listeners get 10% off their. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I was just making a note to Chad. Cut, edit, add. Hold on one sec. Okay. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/sip. That's better, HELP.com/sip. Okay, we've got a dilemma from our friend Kara.
They need to know.
Kara. So I have quite the dilemma. Maybe it's not so dramatic, but I'd love to have your input. I have a 2.5-year-old little boy, and I'm pregnant due in August with a girl. I consider myself to be a feminist, and I am bound and determined to raise a strong woman and raise my son to be an amazing, understanding man. Sometimes I find myself thinking out loud, men suck. Men are the worst. We need to stick it to the man. For the record, I have a wonderful husband, and I know all men aren't terrible. My question for you girls is, how do I keep these strong woman views while raising a son and daughter? I never want to make my son feel like less than he is, or less than.
I don't think men suck. I think it is cultural. So it actually drives me kind of crazy when I see I've talked about it on here, when there's just like all these memes about how worthless dads are and husbands, and they don't get it. It's like, they are just as much humans as we are, but they are culturally brought up different. Like, there is just different expectations for men or males than there are for females. And I'm also a feminist. I have similar views to what she's writing in, right? I want to raise a strong woman, and I want to raise a strong man as well, but I'm not worried about him because he's a white male. So, he's already got privilege. So I'm not really worried about him. What I'm worried about is showing him that women are more than just something to look at, that women are capable, right? So I want to teach him to respect women, which is not really something that is trained. So I don't think it's a men problem. I think it's a society problem. Glennon Doyle talks about in her book that if you were in a mine and they pumped poisonous air in there, you would become poisoned by the air, not because you're a bad person. So she talks about misogyny that way. She's like, I'm a staunch feminist, and yet I have misogyny in me, right? I wear makeup. I was injecting my forehead with Botox. Like, I do all the things that women are supposed to do. And she's like, not because I'm a bad person, but because the air that I'm breathing is poisoned, right? Like, it just, and she also talks about how little boys are told, that they can't cry and they can't show emotions and they can't show any weakness, and allowing our boys to show vulnerability and allow them to have tender hearts and a safe place to express themselves. And I see it all the time. I see it at the playground. A little boy falls and the mom says, "Oh, get up. You're a big boy. You're tough. You're strong." And so I don't think it's a men problem. I think it's a cultural thing. And having compassion for all, I think, is going to be the best place to start. And understanding, like, we all have it in us, right? So I think you can be a feminist and, I'm a feminist, but I don't hate men. I'm pro both. I just think it's less about tearing men down and more about building women up. And that's sort of, it's going to be hard, right? Because there is conditioning. Like, I still have misogyny in me. And Mac will see that. This is so funny because this was going to be my rant today. the beauty standards that are placed on women. I was looking at our luggage. We're leaving town, so I'll just do my rant now. We're leaving town, right? And I'm packing 100,000 things. I've got makeup, I've got skincare, I've got all kinds of different outfits. I have a, luggage, and then I've got extra bag. I have a couple things I shoved into Revi's bag. And John's taking some of my shoes for me. And I look, and he's got one duffel bag, and it's just like a few t-shirts and shorts. Just like there's just no expectations. Yes. Also, I think something that women have to consider is the size of our bodies, right? So it's like, I want to bring loose, flowy things. I don't want anything too tight. Today I was working on the treadmill, and the window guy was here, and I just had sweaty crotch. Whereas guys, they get to wear loose shorts. Like, these are, and I buy into it, right? Because I'm also in this society, and I like being a female. Like, I like these, I like makeup, I like doing my hair, I like those things. But I just wonder, like Mac is going to be, our sons are going to be exposed to misogyny because it is in the air we breathe. But I think the anger goes more towards the system and less towards men because they only know what they were told, know? And so having compassion and focusing more on building women up and how powerful they are, and also praising your daughter for more than just looks, like not calling her just pretty. And like, I actually don't know if I've ever told Revi she's pretty. Sometimes she'll do it. She'll put on a headband and she'll say, "Oh, I'm pretty now." And I'll say, "You're pretty all the time, Revi." Or we'll curl her hair and I'll say, "Oh, that's so cute. I'm pretty now." And I'm like, "Oh, you're pretty all the time," right? Like, I know she's learning that outside in the world. But I try not to compliment the way that she looks or even her brain. I'll just say like, "Oh, you worked really hard," or, instead of "You're so smart, you figured that out." It's a dance, but I think for sure compassion is going to be the number one thing. And really focus on building the women up rather than tearing men down.
Yeah. Yep.
Is how I'm trying to tackle it.
I love it. I have 3 thoughts. One is more formulated than the other 2. I'll start with the ones more unformulated. So on Twitter, I follow conservative, liberal, and the Forward Party, which is a third party that was just created by Andrew Yang, he was one of the Democratic candidates. But he's I like following him because he's like a fresh thinker, and I would say he doesn't really align with, and now he's a Forward Party person. He doesn't really fully align with Democrats or Republicans, but he has interesting ideas, and I just think he's kind of interesting. And I follow it all. And he made a tweet quite a while ago that it's been in the corner of my brain. Like, it's just interesting. And this is why I like him, is because he makes me think. And this is the part that's not fully formulated. As he said, that for good reason, there is a lot of energy right now that we're in a movement of the future is female type vibes. Rightfully so, because there's a lot of ground for women to make up. It is still hugely important. And I think we're all feeling that surge. And I think that's where this email is coming from, right? And even like the era that we were in of Me Too and just these real, like the Harvey Weinstein's guys coming out, like there is this thing. But he was stating some facts about young men and how far behind women they are, the future generation, in things like testing scores, and how our young boys need a big hug right now too. And that this is way more than just black and white of the future's female, of like, hey, this is why this is happening, but also like for a young boy who wasn't part of any of that and he's just seeing the future as female, that's an interesting message for a young boy to see. Yeah. Like, what does that really mean? And our boys will be fine. This is a world built for men still. Right. But that did get me thinking, and especially for Ben, and like, I'm very much a feminist, but also when he's old enough to understand, explaining the why behind it. Like, why? It's not just that you don't belong here, but like, why is it important to rate? Why is it important for you to be a feminist, Ben? Right? Like, that's a good conversation to have. And then also making sure that we're wrapping our arms around young people, both boys and girls. And then my other thought that's more formulated, it definitely aligns with what you said of like, you're setting the model in your home, like what you're telling your children, but also the way you and your husband treat each other. And so you said your husband's wonderful. your kids are going to be fine. Like if you're modeling in the home, what you hope for them in the future, right?
Yeah.
Like paying attention to who's taking on what. And we have some friends who I adore them. And one of the things that he said that he stuck with me is I never want my kids to question how much I love their mom. And like, I never want our kids to question how much I love Chris and like how much Chris loves me, and that not just love, but respect.
Yeah.
And how we partner to support our home, and that and helping with gender role type things, not just, you know, helping our kids see Chris doing housework and being a primary caregiver sometimes, and also me, right? And like, so you're gonna be fine. Long story short,
Yeah.
but these are such good things to think about, and I love the email because it got me thinking too of like, yeah. How do we
I'm
do this,
curious
you know?
what is happening when she has those thoughts, I hate men or men suck. Because I would also ask, like, when men do things, I think it's because they've never really been shown another way, right?
Yeah.
So to your point, I never really thought about it, that like our young boys need hugs right now too, because I think it's the concept is what I said and you said. Our boys will be fine because the world is built for them. And so let's like go over the top about the future as female, not really thinking how it's going to impact the little ones right now that
Yeah.
are coming up and learning this new world. And so that's a really fair point, that like the future is female, but also like these guys are important too, right? And
Yeah.
we do want to raise feminists that are also male, because I think that there's this idea that if you're a feminist, you hate men. And I don't think that's what it should be. I don't think that's what it
No.
is, right? I want to raise Mac to be a feminist, but that doesn't mean that he thinks women are better than men. It's just been societally that men are better than women for so many years. We're trying to overcome that. It's like we're equal. We both bring different things to the table, but women are just as capable and talented and amazing, you know, in their different ways, I feel like. So I would be curious, like, what's happening when you decide that you hate men. Like, it's easy to say what happened with Harvey Weinstein and the Me Too movement. It would be so easy to say I hate men. And there's a lot of talk right now around, I feel like on TikTok, how it's not safe to be a female. And yes, it's not all men. That's what they say, right? It's not all men, but it's most of them. Like, I have to worry about my safety if I'm out somewhere. Like, I don't walk home alone, right? I don't even want to get in an Uber late night by myself necessarily, because things can happen in there. So there is that. But to me, it's not I hate men. It's like, it's a bummer that this is how, like, they just don't know any better, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's on us to kind of be the change and help our next generation. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okie dokie. Hold on one sec. Chad, what time?
42
minutes. There was one I had written down. I'm just looking for it in the inbox. Hold on. There we go. All right. Okay. This is from Kay, who she wrote us an email a while ago saying, let's have some fun. And she gave us an idea for the whisper challenge and then some awesome what would Ash and Call do? And we never read the what would Ash and Call do.
Oh, okay, great.
Did we? Okay, does this sound
don't know.
familiar? What do you say when you're in the bathroom and someone knocks on the door? Did we do these?
No, I don't think so. I would just say, I'm in here.
I'm
Or
in
someone's
here.
in here.
Yeah, or like
Or
at the
it depends where
public
it is.
public bathrooms when the lock doesn't work.
Yeah.
I don't think I can even get words out. The sheer panic of
Right, you
seeing
just
the
try to
door. I'm
slam
like,
it.
ah!
Ah.
That's what I say.
Yeah. But if you're at like a house party and someone knocks, then it feels different. And so then you would say like, oh,
Yeah.
be right out.
Yeah.
Or something, you know, like more friendly.
What?
Because it does feel urgent when you're in public, I feel like.
Oh yeah, it's terrifying.
Like, Jesus, my God! You know? Yeah. Yeah.
What do you do when you drop a piece of food on the ground? Pick it up and eat it, or throw it out?
Again, it depends where I'm at. Anywhere in public, I would throw it out.
Yeah.
At my house, it depends like how long ago it'd been cleaned, probably. And what it is. Is it like a chip that, you know, Is it absorbing the dirt around it? Like if it's a piece of cheese, I'm probably going to throw that out because it feels like dust sticks to that more or something.
Yeah. Or like, what if it's on the counter?
Well, if it's on the counter, depends how long ago my counter had been cleaned. But
I
generally,
have an
I would eat
embarrassing story.
that. Okay.
Years ago, we were over at Lindsay and Brandon's house. We were having ice cream. And I was sitting on the floor with ice cream on the coffee table, bowl of ice cream. And we were talking. And I think I was kind of buzzed, you know, no kids. This was before
Right.
kids. I was eating ice cream. And in my hazy state, I thought I saw some of my ice cream on their coffee table. And I didn't have a napkin, right? This is when their dog was alive.
Oh,
They had a big dog.
oh,
Big
Sid?
dog.
Alive,
Yeah.
or you mean before they gave her away? Tiva?
Tiva.
Okay. Okay.
This was Tiva.
I'm putting myself in the timeline, you know?
Yes. So this was Tiva. And
Okay.
I, like, straight up thought that this was my ice cream and I didn't have a napkin and I was a little buzzed. And I thought, oh, I'll just dollop it up and put it back
right-
in my mouth.
Put it right in the mouth.
Wasn't ice cream. It was like some sort of dog. It was immediately sour and disgusting. It was some sort of dog, something that had come out of that dog.
Oh my
and-
God. I actually
and my-
feel vomity in the back of my throat right now.
Oh yeah, it was awful, and I never do that. I don't do that. I don't eat things off of the counters or the ground. I don't know what I was not thinking. I just went, whoo, and they saw it, and they saw my face. And I think it was Brandon. He's like, "That wasn't ice cream, huh?"
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was awful.
Oh my God.
It was really, really, really bad. It was awful.
That's awful.
was
Yeah.
awful.
I wouldn't that's an embarrassing story? That's just a disgusting story is
It's
what that is.
both. It's disgusting
Gross.
and embarrassing. Like, what was I doing? Okay. What's your opinion of white tighties on men?
No, ever. Not even
Never?
on Tom Hanks. Calvin Klein, no.
The problem is
White
if-
ones, no.
white tighties, like if you're seeing them on an advertisement, it makes a great billboard probably, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like for photos only. That's not for day to day.
That's
The
not for
only thing I
day-to-day.
can think of is like those are gonna get real dirty,
Right.
Like, yucky.
Yeah.
Those are gonna get yucky.
I do, and also I don't really like briefs, but I like boxer briefs, and I don't like boxers either. When I first met John, that's what he wore was boxers. It just
Yeah.
feels like too free, too loose.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I don't know.
A lot of air.
I like boxer briefs, and I don't like them to be white.
Yeah. Who is most likely to slam their finger in a door?
Between the two of us,
Yeah. I think me.
you do. I would say me, but because either one of us, especially if we're together, we
Probably
can't pay
both.
attention to life. Like we're just,
No.
you know,
No.
we're just low functioning humans when we're together. High functioning laughter, low functioning humans is what's happening.
Who is more likely to forget their toothbrush on a trip?
Me. Oh, you?
Me. I
Yeah.
always forget like toothpaste or something.
I forget toothpaste every single time.
You know.
I don't forget it. Usually, sometimes I might forget it if I'm traveling by myself. But if anyone else is going to be there, I'll think they'll have
Someone
someone I
will
can
have it.
borrow. Yeah, someone's got it. Yeah,
It's like toothpaste and dry shampoo.
yeah.
And I usually go,
Or
"Oh, so with
sometimes
Ashley,
lotion."
she's got it.
Oh, really? Well, now we know
Yeah.
about each other that we don't have it. But I do
don't have
that
it.
too with lotion. I'll be, did you bring any lotion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend now who I guess I've shoulder tapped too many times because the last time I asked her for something, she's laughed and she's like, "You never you mooch off me every time." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I guess I do, huh?
I guess I do.
I guess I do."
Who
Guilty.
would be more likely to be in a movie or TV show? Depends on the show. Reality show, I think you. Movie, I think me.
Movie, you for sure.
TV show, you.
Okay. Yeah, but also
You would make great TV.
Would I?
Phenomenal. Phenomenal TV.
I need maybe there would have to be like prompts, either alcohol or like do something to hurt someone I love and
Yeah.
see me go fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like
This
see
is
me
why
just
your
like a
Instagram
bowl.
stories are popular because you have an X factor in a reality type way. People want to see what you're up to, you know, what you're doing.
Yeah, I'd like to have when we have a compound and we live together. I'd like to have a reality show together.
Yeah, I think we'd
pretty
do
fun.
I think we'd have a little magical situation there.
Yeah, we would.
Some
Some people call us overwhelming. Those people are wrong.
those people are wrong. What would be the hardest thing to give up for each of you? I mean, that's like a big
Material thing?
question. I think we have to like filter that into material things. Yeah.
Probably my cell
books?
phone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cell phone for me too, for sure. I mean, that's like a portal into everything these days, right?
It's how I'm connected to the world. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
My
a
pulse
really
on
good
everything.
answer. That's a good answer. Okay. Should we go to rant and rave?
Yeah. Do we have another? We got to do another ad though, right?
Yeah.
Here we go.
While
Want me to do
it's
it?
loading up. Okay. You guys, inflation. Holy freaking cow. Everything is getting more
Unreal.
and more expensive. It's unreal. And as most of you are probably doing, myself included, I'm constantly looking for new ways to cut costs and find savings. That's why when it comes to buying organic groceries and household goods, I'm all about Thrive Market. Thrive Market. You can shop everything from healthy pantry essentials to sustainable meat and seafood to non-toxic cleaning and beauty products. They're all delivered right to your door. It's freaky fast. Thrive Market carefully vets every product they carry, so you can trust that it's there and it's the best. That if it's there on their website, it's the best. Finding savings on items that matter most to you is easy. You can find what you need because they have over 5,000 food, home, and beauty products. So you can throw on filters for things like plant-based, keto, gluten-free. Thrive Market has you covered. I just went on Thrive Market the other day. I went into their beauty section and I got this little like magic. It's like you use it for lipstick and you can use it for cheek rosy glow.
Yeah.
You know, one of those like multi-purpose. And I know that when I'm putting it on my face, not only does it look good, but that it's clean. I love going on there and browsing like snackies for Ben, you know, that
Yes.
aren't just like the normal things, but a little like way better quality. And I can buy the organic stuff and it's not going to cost me a freaking arm and a leg. With Thrive Market, you save time and gas by not having to make that trip to the store because you can buy everything you need online. Best of all, if you happen to find a lower price elsewhere, Thrive Market will match it.
I was just looking because it says like say what you've saved. One of the things that I feel like I have found cheaper than anywhere is I talked about them many times, but the Think Keto bars.
Yeah.
They are kind of pricey, I feel like, but it looks like okay, so here. They're for a box of 10, $17.99, which is 18% off anywhere else. But then also you can get them on auto ship, which gives an additional discount. I find a lot of times Thrive Market it can save you up to like 30% per item. So join Thrive Market today and get $80 in free groceries. That's THRIVE market.com/sip to get $80 in free groceries. That's thrivemarket.com/sip. thrivemarket.com/sip.
Time to rant and rave. Mine is a one-stop shop.
You got a rant and a rave
I have a rant and a rave combo.
combined? Well, I kind of already did. My rant was going to be, female beauty standards. And then like,
Yeah.
I wrote that when I was packing to go to Summit. And then I was like looking at the airport around me and what men have to do to, well, I shouldn't say have to, but what men do versus what women do to feel like they can go out into the world, it just requires so much more effort and time for us. And then today when I was looking at what John packed versus what I packed for this trip, it's just a lot, but whatever. I mean, it is the world.
And it
that we
starts
live
when
in.
they're kids, I feel like, too. It's like Ben is so easy. I'm like, whatever, shorts and t-shirt. It's the
Yes.
same thing all the
Yes.
time. With
Yes.
Ellie, I'm like, what should we wear today?
Yes.
Like, it's crazy.
Oh, so true. That's
It starts
such
right
a good point.
now with me.
Because
Yeah.
I do that with Rev, but I was thinking, it's because she's older and she has an opinion. But yeah, if you're doing it, Ellie doesn't have an opinion yet, but we still want to, dress her up and make her look cute. Yeah.
Yes. With
Yeah.
Ben, I never dressed him. I'm like, another
Whatever.
car shirt, another diner
Yeah.
shirt,
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay, so why don't you do yours, I guess.
Okay, last week was
Rave.
breastfeeding celebration week or National Breastfeeding Week or something like that.
Oh. Awareness, maybe?
Yeah. And I gotta say, my rant, and this is more about myself because this should not be a thing. I feel like there's a lot of people that without issue breastfeed in public. They don't get in their own head about it. It's easy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what. Me breastfeeding a newborn in public, very stressful. This is my rant. It's just like very stressful because I worry too much about what other people are thinking. I shouldn't, but I do. And it's something I'm working on, right? It's like, I'm never going to see these people again. But it's like, so then it's because there's a stress of covering myself up.
Right.
And she's still little. I think breastfeeding when they get older and bigger and a little more easier, just like pop on, as Trish would say, not as hard. But with her, I'm like, it's a little bit more. There's not cute nursing clothes. There's just not. Someone wrote us an email like, where should I find like cute nursing clothes? I'm like, I don't want to bring this one on 2 sips because I do not know. I do not know.
They don't exist.
It's like the amount of layers, right? That it's like, what's the point of buying those if it's going to cover you up if you can't find your own boob in them?
Yeah.
Like,
right. It's just like a whole fucking curtain. Yeah.
Stupid. It's like 3 curtains that you have to move around just to get to the same result of, okay. And then it's like, I think part of it too is you go your whole life of like, these are your private parts, right? My boobs are my private parts. And then all of a sudden I'm supposed to be like, hey, everyone, it's okay now. You know, that's a shift. Yeah. That's a different situation. So I was out in public yesterday. Ellie had to eat. I didn't want to pump a bottle. I'm going to breastfeed in public. I was wearing a dress that was like a nursing thing, right?
Yeah.
So I was trying to unfold the multiple curtains. I've got her in one arm. Thank God for Chris. And he's jumping right in. He's with me. He's like, I'll take her while you get situated. You know, we've got friends. And I'm like, I want to be respectful of the male friend.
Right. I don't want to be pulling my boob out.
I don't really want him to see this either. You know, for both of our sakes.
Yeah.
So then I've like got this receiving blanket thing, which is just a joke. And it's falling all over Ellie's face. So then Chris holds it up and I pop her on. I want to check on her halfway through. The way it was draped, I couldn't quite see. So then I lifted it up and I got it over my head. So I looked like a ghost. Like I was dressing up as a ghost.
Yeah, okay.
I just was fully under the blanket. I'm stressed. I'm sweating. You know, I'm sure Ellie's stressed out. I don't have like any support from my arm.
Oh God.
You know, and it's the most natural thing to feed your baby. This is supposed to be very easy, but culturally we make it very hard on breastfeeding moms. It just does not feel easy. And then this is a side rant. Halfway through, we were at a winery. And Ellie had a diaper. And Chris is like, I'll go change her. You know, he jumps right in. And he's gone for a couple minutes. He comes back and he said, unfortunately, they told me that there was only a changing table in the women's bathroom.
Yep.
What the hell?
I remember Chrissy Teigen talking about this, I think with Miles or Luna many years ago. And there was someone that was starting an initiative, but John Legend was on board. Him and I think it was another celebrity that they like paid to get changing tables in some men's restroom, but it never like got on, you know, never took off. But that's another example of misogyny, as is the fact that men can have their shirts off and nipples out in public, but women cannot. America has sexualized women's boobs so much that we would get indecent exposure having our boobs out in public, but men can have their shirt off. And
then fast forward to when women become moms and this plays out and it's like this, we're literally
these are not for your enjoyment. They are for, I mean, you can enjoy them. Yeah. But there's a purpose. They're for food.
Feed another human.
Yes.
Who needs this for her survival. It's crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy.
And this is not, I do not give this winery a pass because they are a new winery. So these are new bathrooms. This is not like bathrooms from 10 years ago. So in this day and age, I'm like, what in the actual hell? That is so not okay. So
and sometimes places don't even have one in the female restroom. Yeah. And so you're like changing on, if they have a countertop, or you're like, I guess we'll do it in the booth, or do we have to take it to the car and do it in the, yes. Yeah. This changing table thing is a rant in and of itself.
Yes. Yeah. My rave is about a couple of the women that I've interfaced with lately about breastfeeding that have given me some courage. So my sister-in-law, she was very comfortable breastfeeding in public, and we were having this conversation, and the way she was talking about it, she just was like, this is the most natural thing. Like, she's like, I didn't even care. Like, I have to feed my kids, and she just did it. And
Right.
I'm like, man, I want to be like that. I want to be like that, know? And so it was that conversation, and then it was a great conversation. And then the other day, Chris and I were out to breakfast. There was a family sitting next to us. She had a 10-week-old. So almost as just like right in there with Ellie, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking. They're like, they have 3 boys. They have this 10-week-old boy and they had 2 older boys. They're sitting at the table. They're up from California, traveling around, visiting family. I'm like, oh my God, are you guys crazy?
Yeah.
Are you nuts? And she's extroverted to the extreme, because it was like, we didn't have a choice. The conversation started because of her, and it wasn't going to end because of her. And that was okay. It was awesome. I was like, I was fully enjoying it.
Right.
And midway through, we're talking about how they just went to Bend and now they're in Lake Oswego and all these things. And she lifts up her shirt and pops her son on her boob.
Yeah.
As we're talking. Didn't miss a beat. And my face went immediately to her chest, just watching. Because I'm like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And Ellie didn't even need to eat. But in that moment, I was like, I want to do the same thing. I just want to wake her up and do. I was like, whoa, because this was like a popular restaurant. She didn't give a shit. And I looked around, and like she did it. She doesn't know Chris and I. She did it right in front of Chris and I. And I'm looking around. No one in the restaurant was looking at her. Not a single person. And if they did, they probably most people probably would have just thought, oh, and went on with their breakfast.
This is a great example of a thought that we don't give consent to, because I think there's a thought that is like, I don't want to offend anybody, so I'll cover up. And also, like there's a thought of I'm embarrassed, or I shouldn't be doing this. But let's go to the thought of like, I don't want to offend it, because I've had that thought. Like, I don't know if other people are comfortable with this. But then that's like in our subconscious, what we've been trained. And then the conscious brain is like, if someone were to go up to her and say, that's offensive, put your boob away, we would be like, you're offensive, get the F out of here, dude, right? Like, she's fine. And so it's like our subconscious brain has this thought of like, well, I don't know if I should be doing this in public. Yet our conscious brain, if anyone were offended, it would be like, that's a you problem. She's doing just fine. Right? Like this cognitive dissonance, one, what we've been trained to think, and this other that we want to think. And you got to, it's competing, and you get to decide.
Yes.
It's hard. Yeah.
It's hard. And I'm right in it.
Yeah.
And I was just amazed by her. And I told Chris, I was like, I needed to have that conversation with Kelly, Chris's sister. And I needed to see this woman do it. I needed to see someone in the wild just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I was meant to meet her, because later that day we took Chris to swim lessons. I thought, I'm just going to do it.
Oh, Chris is learning to swim too?
Chris is learning to swim too. Yeah, we went to Chris's swim lesson. What'd you say? I didn't realize that I actually said that.
Yeah.
Ashley said, oh, Chris is learning to swim too? I thought I said, well, anyway, I've had a beer.
Yeah. You've had a beer.
So we took little Chris to a swim lesson. Ben and I were sitting there watching him.
You got it, Daddy.
He got it. He's got his floaties on.
Blow out bubbles, Chris.
Do it. Oh God, at swim class, they're teaching the kids how to blow bubbles under the water, just to be comfortable putting their face in the water. And they said it's like blowing out a candle, right? Like, and they held up their finger up like it was a candle to blow out the candle.
Yeah.
Well, I think the angle Ben saw was different, because now the only way he does it is he puts his finger in his mouth, then sticks his face underwater.
Oh,
it's so good. It's just perfect. It's just so cute. I just love it.
Doing great, buddy.
So we're watching Ben at swim school.
Yes.
And I'm looking around and I'm getting nervous because I know I'm going to do it. And as of last week, if a feeding fell in between, I just wouldn't go. I'd stay home. And then I'd get sad girl summer and things, because I was really coordinating my life around being home during feeding times. And for good reason, because the first 5 weeks for Ellie and I, we were having those latch issues because of her tight jaw. But I'm at this stage now where I'm like, I've got to be able to live my life, especially for Ben.
Yeah.
And it meant so much to him that I was there this week at swim class. So I'm getting all worked up. I'm starting to sweat, and it's time. Ellie wakes up. She's starting to stir. I know it's feeding time, and I'm like, so I lift up my shirt and I put her on the boob. And my God, we had a full feed there.
Oh, really?
And I'm looking around, and no one's looking at me. I didn't worry about a receiving blanket, and it was so liberating.
That's
And
how you
that's
do
my-
it, man.
That's my rave, is I'm overcoming this,
Mm-hmm.
my own
Yes.
thoughts around it.
Yeah.
And it's impacting my life now in a positive way. And I wanted
Yeah.
to share this story in case anyone else. And I'm also buying a hooter hider type thing that on Amazon. I'll let you guys know if I like it. That's better than a receiving blanket. It's like, because I still would like to ideally cover up, because I was wearing high shorts that were spandexy, and then I was able to just lift my shirt up and go.
Yeah, so it's just your boob exposed,
But
not
if
like your whole body. Yeah.
But I don't really want to expose my whole body.
Yeah.
So in moments like where, depending on the outfit, I'm buying this thing that's like you can peer down inside, but it's a little easier because the receiving blanket situation is not going to work for me.
No. Yes.
So I'll share that if I like it. But
Yeah.
uh,
But that is how you do it. That's how, like, any thought that your brain has that we don't like, you do the thing that your brain because you're going through that freak out. Your brain gets loud and noisy, right? That's why you have anxiety and nerves leading up to it. And then you do it, and you're able to show your brain, like, see, everything's fine. It's okay,
Everything's fine.
right? Like, you looking around and just making sure. It's like allowing your brain to be like, this is not life and death. This is not fight or flight situation. It's
Yes.
totally fine, right? But like, that's how you have to do it.
and
it's
I
freaking
never
hard and
breastfed
uncomfortable,
in
but-
public with Ben too. So this is very new for me because I'm, it was like, just again, everything I've already said of like the years and years and years of this is a part of your body that should be covered up.
Right. Yeah.
And so anyway, just some realness with breastfeeding awareness week is maybe if you see someone breastfeeding in public, just tell them, hey, you're doing great. Just like we would with a mom,
You're doing great.
anytime you see anyone in public, tell them they're doing great.
Right. Hey, you're doing great. Hey, you're doing great. Anyone
That's
you
my
see,
dare to all of you. Just tell someone for no other reason.
any reason.
Hey,
that you're doing great. Someone picks out cream cheese at the grocery store. Hey, you're doing great.
doing
You're doing great.
great.
All
right.
My rant is rave is pretty.
Oh yeah, you're on the
basic.
show
I
too,
covered
huh?
it pretty fully on Patreon.
Sorry.
And it is just the way that this aligned for us. This house that we're buying.
Yes.
It is it feels like divine intervention or something. The way that everything happened was just sort of surreal, and how quick and easy and effortless it was. And then I started having doubts and thinking, oh gosh, what have I done, right? And then I got a ton of really great feedback from social media, and I got this one from, I think she supports us too. Her Robin Chapin, Bridson. I see she messaged. She's still a coach on my team, I guess, but she listens to the pod. She messages the pod. She's big supporter. But she said, excited for you. So excited for you. This is the most powerful week for astrology, and all your good karma will come back to you. So the fact that it happened this week and just unfolded so perfectly, it feels meant to be. It's a lot you have gone through this week, and emotions got to feel intense. And it's only natural. But I didn't know that it was like karma or cosmically things were going on in astrology. So that feels even better and cooler.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of messages like that were just like, you're on the right path. And so it was like cool the way that happened, but then also just the feedback and the reassurance of like, yeah, this is supposed to happen this way. It's exactly the right thing. So if you want to hear the story of the house, patreon.com/you can sip with us. And I don't even care if it's like we're overselling it, because that's where you want to be.
Yeah, you want to be.
You know, like,
you got to be.
Are we plugging it too? I had this thought. Are we plugging it too much? I don't care. You need to be there. It's so good.
Yes.
But also be here, because this is also really good.
And we love you guys so
We love
much.
you.
You're doing great.
You're doing
You
great.
can sip with us always, and we will see
See you
next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.